apples.
And welcome back. We are back with Gretchen Hofing. Gretchen, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
It's good to have you here, and you have another awesome recipe. And I have to say, when you make them, that looks so pretty.
A little sprinkle of powdered sugar on the top can do wonders. And it was a great cake anyways, but that's a nice touch.
It does. I mean, it looks great, and for the camera, it looks wonderful. And I'm going to have you jump in and tell us, because when you read the ingredients, it sounds really good as well.
Sure. So we started out with kind of that basic mix of some sugar and flour. In this case, we've got our regular wheat flour and 1 cup of soy flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, some seasonings with our cinnamon, cloves, allspice, and nutmeg. Mix that together, and then we're going to add some of the moisture with applesauce. So we use 2 cups of applesauce and a half a cup of soy or vegetable oil. And then we've actually added some tofu in here as well. It's going to be the softest tofu that you can find, and a half cup of that. And then we folded in some raisins, and it bakes for about 50 minutes at 350 degrees.
Well, and I think one of the things I like about this, and you always do this so well with your recipes, I wouldn't just think to put tofu in a cake. Those things in my mind, you just don't think of like a protein source like that in a cake. But what a great idea, especially, you know, so many people exercise, you're on the go. Let's try and make things healthy.
Add a little bit more to it. And if you'll notice, there's no eggs in this recipe. So it's likely that the tofu is helping to serve as an egg substitute here, as well as maybe a little bit of substitution for the oil. We only have a half a cup of oil, which is plenty, but it wouldn't be uncommon to have more than that in a cake recipe.
Well, and I like to pull in the applesauce to kind of just get those, I don't want to say unconventional, but you wouldn't always think of applesauce in a cake either.
No, and again, that's helping to add some moisture, some extra fiber, of course flavor, and it's a little bit of a fat substitute as well. So an effort to cut back on some calories and add some health benefits to it.
Well, and folks, if you want to get a copy of this recipe, as always, you can visit us online at MichiganFarmandGarden.com, or you can write to Michigan Farm and Garden Recipes, P.O. Box 461, Williamston, Michigan 48895. So we want to make sure you get that so you can try this recipe. And I think that's one neat thing, Gretchen, when you're here, is the neat ways you can get soy into your diet, because it really is so healthy.
There's all kinds of health benefits to soy foods, and we see that across the spectrum. So regardless of age or gender, soy foods are going to help support positive growth and development. We can, start in infancy, and there's infant soy formulas available for those who need a formula and can't tolerate a cow's milk-based formula. We look at kids, again, that's supporting positive growth, healthy growth, strong bones. We've got calcium-fortified soy milks and calcium-set tofu. We've also seen some recent research suggesting that early consumption of soy foods with girls prevents breast cancer, reduces their risk of developing breast cancer by about half later in life. So some real good preventative efforts there. If we continue on with men's health, recent research again in this past year has really come out about the safety of soy foods in terms of men's health, or reproductive health, and some preventative and protective effects for prostate cancer. Moving on to women, we've got osteoporosis, some reduction in bone loss possibly, breast cancer survivors, as well as those who are looking to prevent it. Soy foods are a good choice. Relief from menopausal symptoms is another possible benefit from soy food consumption. So it's just across the board, it's good for you.
Well, and I think one of the things too that's important, we've talked about kids' lunches and kind of back to school. You guys have some neat programs that apply for schools that can get that message to kids young.
You're right, and you want to do it young. So there is a 4th grade school kit that has lessons that work into a science or social studies curriculum. And then we also have a soy food specific lesson plan developed more for your high school or early college culinary programs. So both of those are available through our website. Then they're free to order there.
And the website is?
MichiganSoybean.org.
Well, and I think that's so important, because you really do want to get those healthy habits established at a young age, and it's really not that hard. You just need to start thinking, oh, let's look at tofu to put in a cake, or let's look at these different things to make sure we get that soy in our diet.
Right, and that soy foods lesson plan has that whole hands-on application part of it built into it. So a set of recipes and suggestions for how to get kids involved with cooking and tasting those, because that tasting part is really, really key.
Oh, it certainly is. Gretchen, thank you so much. We appreciate it. You make it sound so easy. I always get all fired up. Folks, we hope that you've enjoyed the show this morning. Lots of good topics, lots of good information. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will see you back here next weekend on Michigan Farm and Garden. Bye-bye.